Let's see. Can you guys hear us now? Can you guys hear us now? You guys should be able to hear us now. That's actually great if they could not hear us.
Yeah, because you totally screwed them.
I don't think they. Let's see. Hold on. They say no sound, huh? We're on. Hello. Can you guys hear us?
Oh, that's an echo.
That is an echo. Can you guys hear us? Hello. The audio is plugged in. Should be running fine. You guys should be hearing us now.
Oh, they can hear us.
Okay, now they can. But are we? Okay, we're coming through here. Okay, let me fix that. All right. Now we're good. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys couldn't hear us because I totally botched the beginning of the show. So we're just going to restart. This is so great. This is the best day ever. This is amazing, actually. I am so fortunate. After Georgia's big victory over Kentucky, we have a lot to process this week. Again, guys, Paul Maharry, Trent Smallwood with the call-in show. UGAsports.com is where you can talk to us. You can chat with us here and give us a call, 620-UGA-TALK. Trent, talk about that heroic victory.
Well, I mean, there's some good signs. There's some bad signs. I mean, anytime you're playing in that kind of weather, it's just good to get away with a win. I know that the offense was kind of not there in the first half. I mean, it just wasn't a good showing in the first half. I thought in the second half they made good adjustments at the half. I thought they went to some outside runs, some counters, some just some edge runs that got DeAndre Swift out in space, and I think that's the name of the game right there. Getting a guy like DeAndre Swift out in space is the key, and you saw what he did. I mean, he had his best game of the year for sure, one of the best games of his career.
Yeah, I think so. Also, we're going to dive into the defense for UGA after Kirby Smart saying he wasn't too happy, right? Said that in the press conference. We're going to dive into that with you guys. We're going to take some of your calls as well. But the first thing we want to touch on is obviously Georgia. We've got it up here on the screen. Georgia is now 6-1. Again, thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Christy, Thomas, Sean, Elite, what's going on? Anthony, what's going on? William, how's it going? Georgia at 6-1 right now, behind Florida, 7-1, and Florida has a bye week as well. Kentucky all the way down there at the bottom. What you would kind of expect when you have a wide receiver at quarterback. But he did give the Dogs a little bit of a fit on the defensive side of the ball, according to Kirby Smart. They looked good, didn't put up any points. What did you kind of find when you dove in a little deeper?
I mean, you're coming into a game not knowing what the weather's going to be, and then you're facing a pretty much a triple option style offense, and I mean, there's no pitching going on really, but it's all read option, and you know it's not an easy thing for the defense got to be disciplined on every single play with their eyes. If they get out of their gap one time, then the guy could be running a counter to the backside, the quarterback. It's just tough. I mean, it's as easy as it looked to defend. It's not that easy. I mean, you can't just say, all right, they're running the ball, I'm going to send 11 guys to the quarterback. You can't do that. I mean, you over pursue, you do stuff. You're trying to keep everything in front of you, not allow a big play. I thought the defense played well. I mean, whatever Kirby said, and I know he wasn't happy, but you know, you put a 0 up on the board. You're playing a different type quarterback. You're playing a quarterback that you really haven't seen much on film
at all
of what they're doing. I thought they put up a good showing.
Yeah, I did too. I know Kirby was upset at the press conference saying, I forgot the word that he used. It's over on UJSports.com. But he basically said, yeah, if you thought that they played well, there's a lot of things that this defense could do better. Me personally, I thought they played really well. I really liked seeing something you probably didn't see too much on television, but I was standing right there next to him, subbing in and out, especially on that last drive. So what they were doing was putting in Tay Crowder and Monty Rice, and then immediately right after putting in Quay and Nakobe Dean. Both of those guys graded out really well over on PFF. Pro Football Focus. But what they were doing was, with the weather being the way it was, your linebackers. So basically, in that scenario, the offensive line, defensive line almost cancel out. They're just kind of up there pushing each other. They're wet. They're big. It's the fourth quarter. They don't want to do anything. So it's basically your running backs against your linebackers, and that's why Georgia was changing them out so much. And I like seeing Nakobe Dean in there. I think he really has. He's really small. In person compared to those other guys standing out there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He's really a little bit tiny, but at the same time, I really like seeing the rotation of linebackers and not a changing of the guard because it's definitely Tay and Monty's right now, but we kind of got to see the next process, the next steps at that middle linebacker position. We've got some questions coming in, Trent. Perfect timing. Tony Edwards says, James Coley's curveballs. Boy, that's kind of tough. Coley's curveballs are edge runs. They're the only creative scheme he knows. Need an overhaul in offseason. We've got couple more coming in about Coley, so we'll keep going. Christy says Coley needs a co-OC in the offseason. Trent, I don't know if it's Coley. I don't know if it's the play calling. I have a theory. I'm going to kind of hear what you've got to say, and I'm going to run through my theory that I've put together.
I mean, who was the assistant that Georgia had a few years ago that they had him as an offensive analyst? Guys from up north.
Jay Johnson?
Jay Johnson.
Yep.
If you look at the whole offense as a whole,
okay.
What was Fromm's best year?
Was it his sophomore year? I mean, both of them were kind of close. I'd say sophomore year probably.
I think overall his gains as far as a quarterback. I mean, he played really well as a freshman.
Either season you could.
I thought the offense was a lot different than it has been the past couple of years of just running straight up the gut. And it could be Sony Michel, could be Nick Chubb, could be those guys making your offense look better than it was.
Sure.
But the common denominator, I mean, you've lost Jay Johnson after that year.
So you're thinking it goes all the way back to an offensive assistant?
I think Jay Johnson was very good for Fromm. I think he was very good for the game planning of the offense. I think he was very good to have just as the extra voice in the room.
I mean, he was an offensive coordinator at big programs.
When he
just some random guy.
When he left the program after Fromm's freshman, or he couldn't be in the booth after freshman year.
Yep.
You know, he was up there in the booth next to Chaney, his freshman year. It kind of changed, and I think that Jay Johnson. I'm not saying the whole offensive ordeal is his was credit to him. Of course, there's a couple more guys.
Sure.
I mean, I thought Chaney did a okay job. You got Pittman in there, but I thought with the development of the quarterback and the offensive game plan, and he really had a good his hand in on that, and I thought that was a plus for Fromm, and losing him could be an issue. I mean,
it's obviously something, right? It's not the same quarterback we saw freshman and sophomore year. One thing that I've kind of piecemealed together, I think I picked some of this off of your brain in a group chat. Some of it I've put together and kind of piecemealed, but the wide receivers are running kind of like an option route, right? They've got two different routes they can run, guys. So when they come out of the huddle, they can, let's say, give them two. I can't think of two that are off.
Well, I mean, if you're
like a fade and a post or something like that, something to where you as the wide receiver can decide, okay, I've got my man on the outside. All right, I'm going to run this in real quick. He's on my back. I'm going to take it. Or
well, if you're going to run basically you're going to go through a zone. You're going to read the zone. Are you going to run a in? Are you going to sit in the between the linebacker and the cornerback and just sit there on like a little curl or something? So I mean they're option routes, and that is what I mean. The offense I'll speak. The offense looks really bad right now.
Very bad.
But I think a lot of it has to do with Jake Fromm not trusting his receivers.
And that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
If you went back and watched the game in the and I don't know who would want to go back and watch that first half of the Kentucky game, but if you went back and watched the first half of the Kentucky game, on a third down play, Demetrius Robertson was in the slot, ran out there, ran like a little 5-yard hitch kind of. He turned in, Fromm threw it out. That's what it has to do with. He doesn't trust the receiver to go to the same spot, the right spot. So if you're not trusting your receiver, you're not getting the ball out on time. And everything looks delayed, and then the offense is like crap.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at. So it kind of all stems from that. And these wide receivers run these option routes, which then in turn makes Jake hesitant, which then in turn makes the offensive line look bad because they were having to hold their blocks for 2 or 3 seconds longer than they think they should have to. All these little things, they have trickle-down effects. If it was so simple as to say, all right, guys, you wide receivers, you 3 guys that are out here on the field, this is a route you're running. You're not running an option route. If that's the fix, then Georgia's in great hands because they'll fix that pretty quick. I don't know if that's the fix. What I'm saying is, though, just something as small as that, as letting a wide receiver go out there and have an option route, delays Jake's timing, which then delays the ball coming out of his hands, which could turn into interceptions, but could also happen to be sacks. Could then turn into your offensive line getting worn down. So then when you go to run the ball, it just looks like a pile of mess, which we've seen. So all this stuff is kind of correlating. You guys get what I'm coming from? I'm not trying to say that that is the reason, but something as simple as that could cause this many wrinkles to happen.
Look, you're playing with freshman receivers, and I know D-Rob's not a freshman, but he might as well be because he didn't play much at all last year.
But Trent, he was a freshman. Wasn't he a freshman All-American at Cal?
He was on running streak routes.
Okay, then run damn streak routes with him
Well,
here.
I understand. I 100% believe you. I mean, I believe you. I agree with you. But listen,
I just thought you were about to make an excuse
no,
for him.
I'm saying is Coley needs to simplify things. They need to use these 2 weeks to simplify things.
Yeah.
That when you go out there, you need to have you need to work on whatever route you're going to run. Have a play call in. If this guy's running a slant, this guy's running a post, this guy's running a streak, whatever.
Then those are the damn routes.
Then those are the routes you're running.
No cutoffs,
so Fromm knows exactly what you're running every play. And you know what? We've been talking about in this show for 2 weeks. RPO slants. You know what route you're running.
Yeah.
You know what route you simplify the offense. That you're playing with George Pickens, Dominic. Well, who's your go-to receiver right now? George Pickens. So if George Pickens is confused on what route he's running, he's not going to be.
And he's a freshman, right?
And he's not going to play near as fast as he wanted to, as he is.
I'm about to sneeze, so you're going to have to keep talking. But go ahead.
No, but seriously, you got to. I think these 2 weeks going forward, you have to take these 2 weeks, simplify the offense, clear understanding from to receiver, have that relationship that you know exactly where they're going on this play, know exactly where they're going. I don't care if you dumb it down to 6 plays, but dumb it down to where these receivers and these quarterbacks know exactly where they're going every play. And
Trent, all I'm saying is we got Christy in here tonight, and she's a little feisty, okay? So, Christy, we're going to need you to calm down a little bit, all right? We're going to start fighting.
Who?
I don't know. She wants to throw hands. I'm totally kidding, Christy. Thank you for commenting. She says, hopefully Fromm isn't interested in dating right now.
Why?
I don't know why, but
she might help him out.
she said, oh, Lord, help. Simplify things. Isn't that beyond predictable?
No, we're not saying predictable.
I'm not. Right now, this offense is pretty predictable as it stands.
Well, the offense is going to look predictable as long as everybody's not on the same page.
Yeah,
so basically, if the offense is not on the same page, then you go to what you're comfortable with, and what they're comfortable with right now is running it. And when you're running it, you're being predictable, and that's the thing. That's where the comfort level is right now in the offense is running the ball, and you know. The edge runs were a little bit different, and I really like that. Really like that in the second half. But
they wore them straight slap down in the second half. That's all it was. It was our 11 versus your 11.
To see guards pulling, it was the best thing ever. To see guards pulling, see Charlie Warner pulling, seeing those big boys up front pulling and getting out front of DeAndre Swift. That was just, I mean, that's something we hadn't seen all year, and that was beautiful. I think they have to wear Florida down, and you're not going to wear them down. You know, Kirby's whole thing is, we'll lean on them for 60 minutes, lean on them, chop and one. You're not going to do that because you don't have Lamont Galliard at center. You got Trey Hill at center. Trey Hill is a big issue with those 3rd and 1s. He's getting blown up. 4th and 1s, he's getting blown up. You can't rely on running up the gut like you could with Lamont Galliard.
But the problem is, I thought that with Hill, I thought everything was going to be fine. I think everybody around the program thought that it was just going to be.
This is how hard the center position is not easy.
No,
you have to snap. You have to get the snap right. Your head's got to come up. I mean, and you have to.
Anybody get popped if you got a guy standing
and
right
if you
in
got a
front of
guy,
you.
if you got a guy timing the snap
Oh,
before
yeah.
you got your head up, you're getting popped.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not easy. But the thing is,
I think Georgia is very fortunate at the center position though. The last 15 years.
oh yeah,
Tell me a bad center Georgia's had.
no, I mean, he goes back to David Andrews and
Ben Jones.
and I mean, it goes all the way back.
Yeah,
but
they've been,
um,
Georgia fans are fortunate to just have this one problem, you know.
but that's but my thing is, you're not going to be able to. You got to go outside. Where's your strong point this year? Your strong point is Andrew Thomas and your tackles, Andrew Thomas. And Georgia's blocking really good downfield. George Pickens is just laying people out blocking.
Kyrus Jackson is throwing some good blocks too.
And believe it or not, we've dogged on the last couple of weeks, but Tyler Simmons is a good blocker. I mean, when downfield, he's not very good. Well, he hadn't been a very good receiver on the receiving end, but he did block well this past Saturday. And
yeah, we'll move on. But let's see. William H. says, can we just – guys, give us a call, 620-UGA Talk. Talk with us on the phone. I'm sick of talking to Trent already. We've only been here 17 minutes. William says, can we just admit Pittman and Cheney were a good combo? Maybe not admit that. Maybe admit that, sure, they work together. They worked together for a long time. Cheney has an offense that, at this point you know what? Here's a question for the chat, guys. Here's a question for the chat. At this point in the season, would you take – a Jim Cheney ran offense or a James Coley ran offense? We're not going to comment on it, Trent and I. Put it in the comments. Right now, heading into Florida. So if you could go into the Butt Smear building right now, would you say, all right, Jim Cheney, draw me up a game plan for Florida, or James Coley? Put the answer in the comments. But I don't know if they were a good combo. They just worked together for a long time. And, yeah, so Jimmy Rustler says, who thinks Kirby and the guys actually gave Fields – why are we talking about Justin Fields? Fields a fair shot to win the job, or they just called QB handoffs to limit his chances to shine? I don't think
this thing Fields is done. I mean, I'm not –
yeah,
I'm not getting it on that.
But at the same time, no, Kirby's trying to win a football game. He's not going to hand plays off to –
I mean, you go back and look at the biggest play of the year
game.
Last year was in Fields' hands. And, I mean, it's not – Kirby's game is built around taking care of the football. He didn't feel Justin Fields could take care of the football.
But then, like, the fake punt, like, I don't know if that's like taking care of the
football. No, but what I'm saying is I know everybody wanted Justin Fields to play last year. Justin Fields had problems turning the ball over at practice. And we heard it numerous times. Justin Fields had a lot of issues throwing interceptions, fumbles at practice. So
the coaching staff went with the guy they thought gave them the best opportunity to win the ball game. And hindsight, damn, if it's not 2020, if we haven't made wrong calls in our lifetime, could Kirby have made a absolutely terrible coaching career decision? Sure, it's too early to tell. But sure, yeah. I mean, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, I wouldn't join you. It's not going to be fun, but you could, I guess. Christy says neither. She wants neither of them to run it. They just want somebody. So Elite says Cheney already game plan for Florida and won, so he's going to take Cheney. I feel you. Riley Fitzpatrick says Cheney had Hardman and Nada, a huge benefit. Both those guys. I mean, both those guys and Riley Ridley. If you were to tell me, all right.
Then Terry Godwin.
Well, Terry Godwin's a senior, but if you were to tell me last year, at the beginning of the season, all three of these guys are going to go to the draft, what's the odds on that? I'd put it like plus 5,000. There's no way I thought all three of those guys were going to go. They did.
I thought Isaac Nada would go. I didn't think – first of all, I didn't think McCall Hardman was ready.
But he is. He literally – if we're going to talk about somebody getting drafted in the perfect system.
Oh, that was perfect.
Like perfect fit, just like Sony up in the Pats. Perfect fit.
I just thought McCall Hardman wasn't ready as a receiver, not as an athlete, not as an overall player. And he's proved in the NFL he can do it in the NFL. I mean, that nothing against him. But I thought another year might have put him in the top 2 rounds. I mean, I thought he would.
Well, he was late second round. That's what you're saying, yeah.
But I mean, top 50 picks or so. Yeah. But he I didn't think he did end up going to second round either. So it totally proved me wrong. But
no, his speed and everything like that. But
and if you want to put a receiver by receiver, give me George Pickens, give me Riley Ridley. I'm taking George Pickens all day long as a receiver. But it's a game knowing this pro style offense. There's a reason why freshmen don't play in this for Kirby, or very rarely play for Kirby, because it's a hard system to learn, and that is taking a big toll on the quarterback.
Going back the past few seasons with Kirby's recruiting, what freshman wide receivers played besides Pickens and Blaylock?
Hardman was a DB.
I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head.
Terry Godwin played as a freshman, but he wasn't with. He was with Richt.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head. So, like Trent's point right there, seeing one freshman leading your team, and one's got to be close to second with Blaylock and receiving yards, kind of shows you where it's at. They definitely were not anticipating having all those guys.
I mean, just look at the number of players they have playing. I mean, they played 5 wide receivers last week, 5, and 2 of them were Kyrus Jackson and Tyler Simmons, who were just in there to block. So, really, your only receivers you were passing to were Dominic Blaylock, Demetrius Robertson, George Pickens. That's the 3 receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from with that. You want to open it up a little bit more. But in the NFL, you have just like 3 wide receivers you pass to.
Oh, I understand that.
It's a totally different game in college. I get that. I'm not trying to stick up for having just 3 wide receivers
here's
pass catching.
My biggest question. Where is Trey Blunt? He played as a freshman with all them guys.
Oh, so he's a freshman guy then.
But he played as a freshman. He was in on the Wildcat play. Sony Michel scored against Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl.
Really?
He was in on that play. He was a receiver, and Crumpton was a receiver.
I'll be damned. He sure was. I know Crumpton was in there.
Where is Tyler Blunt?
Trey Blunt.
Trey Blunt.
Yeah, it's been so long you forgot his name. I don't know. He's a good kid too. Nothing's wrong.
But if you're playing as a freshman with those guys, where are you? I mean, what? I don't understand. You got 7 receivers there. Basically, you got 7, 8 receivers, and Tommy Bush is not even playing. So where is Trey Blunt? That's a big question mark to me, because there's your experience. There's somebody that can catch the ball. He's shown he can catch the ball throughout. I mean, I know he hadn't had a lot of catches in his career, but he's shown he can catch the ball.
Maybe him and Hankton don't see eye to eye.
I
don't know. We got some questions rolling in, though. Let's see. Fisher. Okay, we're not doing that one. Riley Fitzpatrick. I don't think Aziz gets the credit he deserves. Dude's going to be an absolute freak in years to come. Dude, it is really weird interviewing Aziz after games and him being referred to as a redshirt freshman. Like, he feels like a fifth-year senior standing there. He's got the charisma. He's got the poise. He's got literally everything you want. And what's funny is I didn't think he was going to see that much playing time this year at the beginning, way back before everything. I just thought he was going to get passed on the depth chart, Jermaine Johnson, Nolan, all those guys. Wow, he proved me wrong. And he proved a lot of people wrong, gained a ton of weight, and now he's probably, after this season, depending on what LeCount does, because Reed's gone, if LeCount leaves too, then Aziz is definitely the face of your program on defense, 100%. And if LeCount stays, it's at least 50-50. But he's a guy that you take to SEC Media Days and has been balling out of control. Like a guy that I didn't think was going to do anything close to this, and he's turned out to be probably one of their top 3 most valuable players on the defensive side of the ball.
Definitely. I mean, him and Nolan Smith are going to be a hard combination to deal with. Those 2 are basically your starters right now. Jermaine Johnson's getting time. I think he's
getting a very rare time.
I think he had 15, 16 snaps last week.
Week before that, it was like 10, wasn't it? Or 8, something like that. So it's weird. It's weird.
But the weird thing is to look down on every single week and see Adam Anderson at 1, 2 snaps, and he's only being used in guaranteed pass downs.
Yeah, I saw them throw him in late in like the 4th quarter and like a 3rd down when they knew Kentucky was going to be passing it deep. It was that throw that one of the guys ended up in the hedges. They threw Anderson in there, but they knew he was going to try to pass it. It was like 3rd and whatever. But I don't know, man. What we got? Trent's point one out. Which one, Trent?
I think Georgia's whiffed at recruiting wide receiver. I don't think they whiffed.
Oh, go Dogs. Yeah, he said, what's up to us earlier. I didn't say what's up. Go Dogs with 75 exclamation points. Says, I think Georgia has whiffed at recruiting wide receivers under Kirby.
I don't think they haven't landed the guys in the past however many. They haven't landed guys like George Pickens, Dominic Blaylock. I mean, those are 2 top 40 kids. I mean, they're two of the top 5 receivers in the country. They're not. They have not landed those type of players in the past under Kirby. McCall was an athlete. Godwin was, of course, previous staff, but he was an athlete. Receiver wise, those are probably the 2 top receivers since Marlon Brown.
No, it's been a long time.
So I don't think they've totally whiffed on recruiting wide receivers. I think they whiffed in this past class on recruiting the number of wide receivers just strictly because they were not planning on those receivers going pro. You're not planning on 2 guys going pro, and I think they whiffed on the roster management there. But I don't think they whiffed at the recruiting the position.
No, I think they have some guys. I think Kirby likes his guys. There's a certain type of wide receiver Kirby loves. You've seen it with Matt Landers, Tommy Bush, Mekhi Tongue. I just want to see that type of wide receiver, because it's obvious. Kirby likes that type, and he likes like a slot guy who's a little smaller, like a Blaylock or a Hardman, something like that. I just want to see that big prototype wide receiver that he's recruited for the last 3-4 years now. I want to see one of those guys do something. Because if they don't, then let's just move on from that type of prototype wide receiver. Let's move to a different guy, because Tongue is a freshman this year who we haven't seen. Matt Landers and Tommy Bush haven't done anything to write home about. So I'm still not convinced on that position at wide receiver. But overall, I think anytime you can have Pickens and Blaylock in a 4-year span, even if it's just in the 1 year together, you would still take that, though, because of the type of players they are. So I think you have to step back a little bit and kind of look at it that way. But
it's another one with Justin Robinson is a similar type build to the Tommy Bush. And
it's the exact.
But I mean, I've seen that Joker make plays, but I also saw Tommy Bush make plays.
I was going to say, Trent, I've seen every one of these guys make plays. Show me that prototype. This is the 4th one now with Robinson. Show me one of those guys can do it before you keep going after him. We got some questions coming in. Where does Georgia stand in recruiting safeties? I'll tell you what, 2021, James Williams.
I'm telling you, me and Paul went down we were at Woodward Academy.
Man.
And we walked in that thing, we were like, who is that?
And, of course, like his trainer or whoever was with them.
They were rivals. They don't even know who he is.
Yeah, they're like, how do you guys not know who he is? I'm like, dude, I have no idea where your team's even from, bro. You guys are all wearing
that guy looks like a 35-year-old wrestler. I mean,
like you guys are all wearing neon-colored spandex. You have, random team names on you. I have zero idea of where you guys are even from. Can you tell me where you're from? Like, we're from Miami. That's James Williams. And I was like, all right, cool.
Google.
I was like, oh, my God. So, yeah, James Williams.
I'm telling you right now, that he's got linebacker speed. He's got He's got safety speed, safety flexibility, safety agility, but it looks like a linebacker. No joke. He looks like Alec Ogletree looked like when he was a sophomore in college.
Yeah, that kid is unbelievable, dude. Like, straight up. But I just wanted to say that. Safety for this year, you'd have to ask Trent. But I just wanted to talk about my boy, James Williams, because he's a freak, and Georgia's in on him. So get to know that. Go watch that freaking highlight tape, man. Like, holy cow. Here we go. We got another one. We got another question. Guys, give us a call, 620-UGA Talk. We're going to be on for maybe another 10 minutes. We have not gotten a call. Oh, my God. I'm logged out.
No, there's a reason why you're not getting no calls, buddy.
Well, call back, guys. I had it pulled up, and it refreshed. I don't think we missed any calls, though. Let's see.
I'm sure we have.
We have.
We only missed 4.
It's all from the same person, though. So give us a call back, whoever you are, 770. We'll talk with you. We apologize. This I do tell you. But, go ahead, Trent.
Let's talk a little bit. I mean, that was a little unexpected with Eric Gilbert the other night, LSU. Now, I'm going to tell you.
I was shooketh. Hashtag shooketh.
I was 99.999738284 that he wasn't going to Georgia.
No, yeah, I didn't think it was either.
I thought he was going to Alabama.
Yeah.
Everything I'd heard, it was Alabama. I had no clue he was. I mean, I knew LSU was in it. I knew they were in the community. I thought LSU was in the top 3 with Georgia and Alabama. I had no clue he was about to choose LSU. That totally caught me off guard. Now, I think the offense played a big role in landing Eric Gilbert. That high flying.
But how can you be so? I'm not saying short-sighted, but like obviously Joe Burrow's leaving after this year. He's gonna be drafted as a quarterback. Then your quarterback's Miles Brennan.
See the product on the field. You jump out the.
I guess, man. I guess. I'm just saying. I guess for Georgia fans with this, because obviously this is another big-time 5-star recruit out of Metro Atlanta that escaped, as some Georgia fans like to say, because there's borders around the states, and any 5-star kids cannot go to any other universities besides the University of Georgia. Georgia Tech not included.
McEachern shouldn't be in.
No, Marietta.
I mean, I'm not McEachern. McEachern too.
Yeah.
Marietta should not be. It's not a feeder school to Georgia.
No,
a
lot of them
but
are.
Besides Aziz, who have they landed? From Marietta, you got.
There's been like 30 kids come through there, and only Aziz.
It's crazy.
But anyway, what I was getting at was, I guess for Georgia fans, the question is, had he committed to Alabama, they would feel like Georgia's out of the race. But now that he committed to LSU, that leaves the in-state school an opportunity because his commitment's not as strong.
I don't.
Or was it just under wraps? I guess that's what most fans are wanting to know right now. Is like, had he committed to Bama, we would just let him go. That's what fans are thinking. But he committed to LSU. Nobody saw it coming, so maybe that means he's going to like backdoor and pull it Adam Anderson.
I don't see that. I mean, Georgia left for Eric Gilbert for a long time. That changed in the spring, and I don't know if anything had to do. I mean, I don't know what it had to do with anything, but it changed in the spring. And
James.
Oh, James calling.
James. What's up, man? How's it going, brother?
What's going on?
You bought a subscription since the last time we talked, James?
I still have not.
Okay, fair enough. What's up, man?
I get inside information, man. I'm plugged in.
Oh, you're plugged. Man, he's
plugged in to somebody that has a subscription.
Yeah. You got somebody that's got a subscription, James. What's going on, man? Just giving you crap. What's up, man?
I just want to settle this Rick Gilbert thing down a little bit. The recruitment's not over with. We're just gonna say that.
Oh, you got connections like that, James. You come in strong saying it's not over for Georgia or Bama or LSU.
For Georgia and everybody else. It's not, his recruitment's not over. Signing day ain't here yet.
Well, of course, yeah. Well, you can say that about anybody, James, right?
Yeah. Well, there's people that just are getting all hurt about the whole thing. So everybody just settle down a little bit. No recruitment's over yet.
Of course, yeah. And that's the biggest thing I was saying was, I think, honestly, if you're just looking at this and you don't have a ton of information on it, James, which it sounds like you're pretty plugged in, but if you're just a casual fan who follows the team, kind of follows recruiting, you would say, well, everybody thought he was going to Bama. Now he committed to LSU. That must mean Georgia's still got a chance. But like you said, James, ink's got to dry, and that's a long time to go until that ink does indeed dry. So how'd you think about the game, James? Were you there? Were you wet?
No, I actually passed out or passed over on that one. Wasn't passed out, but I passed on that game.
It might have been good if you were passed out.
Yeah, it probably would have been. You could have just slept through the whole first half, woke up, and then been good to go. Wouldn't have missed much.
Well, yeah. No, man, I gave my tickets up.
You and about 92,000 other people did as well. From what I heard.
I wasn't going to go sit in the rain and the cold and deal
James,
with that.
You missed the light show. Come on now.
You did miss a light show.
Well, my tickets would have been. Hey, man, I'm a little older, so my tickets would have been up under the covered area there.
Oh, you'd have been above the lights. You'd have the best view of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I had 50-yard line tickets, like row 23, so I'm not.
Oh,
No, I'm not.
No,
I wasn't dealing with that.
I wouldn't sit in that neither, man. I wouldn't sit in that neither if I didn't have to, brother. But appreciate you as always, James. We're going to keep wearing you down, man. You're going to get a subscription at some point, brother. But appreciate you calling in. Catch us next week, man.
Absolutely.
All
Go
right.
Dogs.
See you. I got a funny story for you guys.
Hey, let me go a little bit in the tight end for a minute. No, it's ain't a story.
Oh.
But going back to the Gilbert, Gilbert's an in-state kid. His mom loves Georgia. Yes, that leaves the door open. That leaves the door open for Georgia. Here's the thing: he's used his official visit, and Georgia would have to get him back on campus. Georgia would have to, tell the family. Now, this is the one.
Dude,
you can hold on.
Somebody's been called. Person is called 6 times, Trent.
Okay.
Call
Tell me
from
to continue the story in just a second.
Bubba.
Oh, God.
What's up, Bubba? You're on with Paul and Trent, man.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good, man. Good. What's on your mind, man?
I mean, we don't need Jim Caney. We don't need James Coley. We got to trust in Kirby Smart. You know what I mean? We lost one game. Everybody's all, scared. Next week, the Florida Gators are going to know what's going to happen to them. We're going to pound the ball on them, and they're going to quit in the fourth quarter just like they did last year. These dogs are ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. These dogs are ready to fight. I tell you that. That's for sure.
Bubba.
You'll have a good night, man.
All right, Bubba. Take it easy. Thanks for calling, my man. Somebody go grab Bubba, man.
Bubba's ready to fight.
Bubba is about to get down.
This is when I say you got to put Bubba in the huddle right now.
Yeah,
y'all asking for a fullback somewhere up here.
Yep,
Bubba is your man.
Yeah,
Bubba is your man.
Bubba's ready to bust through a brick wall. We appreciate the enthusiasm, Bubba.
But
go. I want to tell my damn story. Go.
I'm going back to the whole tight end thing.
I know you are.
Since this has been trending away from Georgia, back summertime, Georgia has put about 100% focus. Back in July when they had their water party or whatever it was, Eric Gilbert didn't show up. Where did he go? At Clemson. He was at Clemson.
Yeah.
Darnell Washington was on campus. I would say 95% of their focus has been on Darnell Washington since that time. Darnell Washington fits the offense better. Darnell Washington is your true tight end. Eric Gilbert is not wanting to block at line of scrimmage. I can tell you that right now. He's wanting to be split out 100% of the time.
I wonder if that's what they told him.
Darnell Washington's their best fit, and that is the guy I believe Georgia lands in this class, and he is a special talent. 6'7", Leonard Pope style frame, but I think he has better versatility. Oh my gosh,
Versatility, not talent.
Versatility than Leonard had. I just think that's your man in this class, and I think Georgia needs to go get a second tight end. Look for that. Georgia's going strong after that.
I'm dying at these comments, man. Go ahead.
Oklahoma tight end commit was on campus last weekend. That could be your second tight end, but Georgia's going to be out, trying to look for a second tight end. But I think your number one guy that you're looking at is Darnell Washington.
But now that Trent's finally done with that, you guys really what you want to care about.
Is it? Are we listening to my story about Darnell Washington, or are we listening to Bubba?
Trent brought you the news. I'm going to bring you the notes. William H. said Bubba's had a few of Randy's
shrimp salad, shrimp chicken.
William H. says Bubba's had a few of Randy's seltzer beers. I know he meant to say Roddy, but it autocorrected to Randy, so I thought that was pretty damn funny. R.G. Maslin says vodka only. Bubba's on keto.
Bubba needs a hug.
Damn it, boy. Elise said, William, he's fired up, man.
Hey, man. Is this the same guy that said he's going to put a helmet on and run through a wall?
I don't know.
If we land Aubrey Solomon, I'm running through a brick wall.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. But anyways, my ass
Johnson.
My ass is starting to go numb on this seat. Mom's got dinner ready.
Meatloaf.
Trent's got to go home.
Kids.
Yeah, that's what he says. But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We've been on here for 40 minutes hanging out with you guys. Like I said, Butt's getting numb. Trent's got to go. Mom made dinner.
I ain't got to go anywhere, but
we're going to wrap it up, guys. There's no game next week, but we'll still be here. We'll still be here.
Ohio State or Wisconsin?
Oh. Well, if the spread right now is -14 in Ohio State's favor, I'm actually going to take Wisconsin in the points. I don't think Wisconsin wins, but I think they want to bounce
Boy, did
back.
Wisconsin get caught with their pants down last week looking ahead.
Yeah, they did. I mean, you could say the same. Well, I was going to say you could say the same thing about Georgia, but who were they looking ahead to? Kentucky?
All right, that's a good time to get off.
All right. Anyways, guys, Christy says, Paul, you look like Hot Rod. We're out of here, boys and girls.
All respects.
Y'all take it easy. I'm going to jump out my window here. Good night.